having known Henry for so many years, I want to know how has the partnership and friendship been developed the last since 1995, around there?
About 12 years ago, I guess.
About 12 years ago, so it's 2000?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to hear from you, and then later on I'll ask Henry. And because Henry is also a master trainer for mind mapping, and I know that he is one
There
of the
are
very
only
few.
4 on the planet.
Only 4 on the planet.
Yes.
Wow.
And Henry
Yeah,
is
very-
one of them.
Yes. Okay, cool. So you want to say something about your partnership and friendship with Henry?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My goal was global mental literacy.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, to make sure that every brain on the planet knew about how it worked.
Okay.
And one of my goals was to have a master trainer or a very few master trainers
Right.
who had worked over years in developing, first of all, their knowledge about it,
Mm-hmm.
and secondarily, their ability to pass it on.
Right.
And thirdly, their mastership level, where they could actually begin to teach other people to pass it on.
Mm-hmm.
So, global mental literacy.
Right.
And Henry was a major part of my goal
Mm-hmm.
to get this information out as fast as possible and as brilliantly as possible. And Henry did,
So
and does.
okay.
Still
And
doing.
how much more would you still hope Henry can do? How much more?
Sorry?
How much more would you still hope to Henry to do
Well,
in this
how
aspect?
much can Henry do? At the moment, by my own calculation,
Yeah.
and other people's calculation around the world, there are 4 to 5 billion people who still need more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Henry is still a young chap.
Yes, he's still quite young.
So he has at least 60 years
It's possibility, yes.
to continue
Mhm.
with his work.
Yeah.
And his work is not work. Henry doesn't work, so it's not serious in the negative sense of that word. He is ebullient.
Mhm.
He is playful. And there's a wonderful Greek philosopher who actually said that his name was Hippocrates, and he said, the most serious thing you will see in your life is a child playing.
Mhm.
That's serious.
Mhm.
Play. And really good work should be playing at it,
That is
experimenting
absolutely- yeah.
with it, being open-minded
Mhm.
about it, playing with it. And Henry does.
Maybe to add on to that, what I was playing with in the
And
last
you
5
notice a
years,
smile already lurking on his lips.
which I thoroughly enjoyed, was a project that I did, in fulfillment of my doctorate
Yes.
degree.
Mhm.
And that was to study the effects of mind mapping on project management.
Mhm.
And I did that for the
Mm.
last 5 years, interviewed 33 times different people, and analyzed how mind mapping actually works in 4 separate companies.
Mhm.
And I've just finished the thesis, and it's still ongoing.
Go-
It's just the beginning.
Imminently going to be
Yes.
doctor.
I have to call him
And
Dr. Henry.
professor.
Yes, professor, But I've known Henry myself for the last 17 years. And yes, we have fun. And I mean, he is also very passionate. I mean, for Henry, you are passionate. You have founded the Brain Capital group of companies. And we also want to ask you, I mean, your relationship with Tony, I'm sure it has kind of spurred you on, to want to bring mental literacy, making people smarter in the way they do things and the way they think and the way they create. Tell us more about what drives you to found this company.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking back as you were talking about when did I really had a relationship with Tony,
Mhm.
and actually it was in 1974.
Wow.
Ah.
Wow.
It was in 1974 because it was that year of publication of the book that I bought, and it's still sitting in my house. And it was then that I started reading about your work, way back in 1974 when I was 13 years old.
You were very quick out of the blocks because I wrote the book. This was Use Your Head.
Yes.
I wrote that book in 1973.
It was,
And it was-
your earliest edition.
Yes, and it was published with a 10-part television series with the BBC. So you must have read when you were 13
Yes.
the first volume, the first
Yep.
edition.
I still have it. I still have it. It's in my
I'll
house.
sign it
Amazing.
for you. I'll sign it. I've waited for a number of years to sign that.
And you know the funny thing is that I
40
was looking,
years to sign the book.
and I was
Amazing,
looking at the
40
book,
years.
and when I was 13, I had an interest in the way the brain works since I was at that age. And I remember reading, but I couldn't understand everything. I was 13 years old. I could see the images.
I'm
and
70 and I still don't totally understand it. Still learning more.
And as I got older and I reread the book, and then it made more sense, of course. And you know, when I was about to embark on my new business, I asked myself, what would I do for the rest of my life? What kind of business would I get into? And one of the things that came to my mind was, I must do a business that I could believe in for the rest of my life, firstly, and secondly, the business that I'm in must be able to benefit people. And the third thing is that business I'm going to get in, I must be able to do it till my last breath.
Wow.
And so what actually fit in that whole picture was, well, I didn't know it was called global mental literacy at the time, but it was the concept of global mental literacy. I wanted to change the way people think, because it was only through my own changes in my own thinking that I improve. And I realized people are stuck in their thinking. And the scariest part is that they think they are right when they are thinking wrongly.
This is like debauched thinking, isn't it?
Yeah. And I've met a lot of people like that. And the scariest part of that, even more scary part, is that these people are not uneducated people. You have people with PhDs, there are people with MBAs, they graduate from the top universities, and they get stuck in wrong thinking. Very much like the story that Tony used to tell about, you know, the Olympic, the Olympian who is stuck in that quicksand.
Yes, yes.
And because you're so well educated, but you get into the wrong track of thinking, and you struggle, and you use what you know or you think it's right, you sink into the deep sand.
Yeah, it's
faster.
like, it is like being in a swamp.
Yes.
And
right.
if you are an Olympian and you think that to get out of that swamp you're going to use all your Olympian energy,
Yep.
you sink faster.
And I've
This
seen that
is-
with my own eyes
Yep.
in top companies I work with, and it scares me. And so one of the things I wanted to do in the company that I've started many years ago now is to help people become more intelligent.
Ta-da.